How cool is it when you listen to your favourite saxophonists and the sax just sounds like it's singing like a lark and it really gets you in here? Now, the reason that happens is because these people make the saxophone sound like a human voice, which is the end goal. The big goal is to sound like a human voice. One way of doing that is to be using vibrato. Great. And one way of using vibrato is not to have the vibrato constantly through the whole note, but instead to bring the vibrato in towards the end of the note. That's what singers do, and that's what we should do. That is called terminal vibrato, my friend. Terminal, end, vibrato, vibrato. Okay, we're going to look at that today. I'm going to teach you all about it, when to do it, and how to sound more pro, so that when you bring in your terminal vibrato in your performances, you're really going to touch people in their heart, because they're going to connect with the vocal singing quality of your performance. So we're going to get straight into it. This is continuing my series of sort of down and dirty, quick and easy videos while I prepare for the Saxophone Success Formula Live event. As I film this, there might still be some tickets left, so jump in there and go and check it out. I've made a little video telling you all about it, so I don't have to tell you all about it right here. The link will be in the description. Go and check it out. Right, terminal vibrato. What is it? As I've already mentioned, terminal vibrato is where you bring in vibrato towards the end of a note. Okay, this can be done in a manner of different ways, in some different ways. The first way is to use normal vibrato, and I'm going to explain why I'm saying normal vibrato as opposed to not normal vibrato in just a sec. You're going to have normal vibrato, hit the note straight, then bring in the vibrato. This is something that you would hear on ballads quite a lot, and it just sounds like this, straightforward. Typically, the vibrato that you're going to use is more like a singer's vibrato, which isn't too fast. The mistake a lot of people make with vibrato is by getting into the sort of goat bleat range. So don't get into the goat bleating range of vibrato. That would sound more like this. Don't want to sound like no billy goat. So, nice, smooth vibrato, and bring it in slowly. That's what singers do, and that's what you want to do. But there's another way of using terminal vibrato, which is a much more abrupt, short, and more dramatic vibrato, which you will hear in more kind of old school sax players in this swing, jump, jive style domain, but also, hard bop, bebop players. It's more of a sort of jazzy thing. And to do that, you're going to hit your note, and then you're going to do, one or two really big, dramatic jaw drop wodges at the end, combined with breath noise. What am I talking about? What are you going on about, Jamie? Okay, so you got a couple of really big wobbles. Now, how do you do it? Let's move on to the hows. Now that you know the what, let's move on to the hows. Let's start with the basic vibrato, and then I'll teach you how to do that dramatic, great shake style vibrato. Normal vibrato, you do with an up and down jaw movement. Your jaw is one unit, and you rhythmically compress and release on the reed. All right. I've got a whole video about this, and it's all in my Total Tone Mastery course as well as my Phrase Like a Pro course. I'll put links in the description. But to cut a long story short, you compress and release on the reed. Make sure you don't do it too fast. That's like I already mentioned, a common mistake. And there's this whole thing about vibrato, which is a bit of a hot potato, but the vibrato should feel connected down to the bottom of your breath. I'm just going to say this in vague poetic terms without going into any biology, as I like to do. So think about your vibrato being connected to the bottom of your breath. Now, why do I say that? It's because if you don't do that, you get this very lippy, vibrato at the front of your sound, and it sounds nervy and weird, like this. Almost like you're pinching the reed and affecting the tone. The tone of your vibrato should be even throughout these pitch variations, okay? A good vibrato sounds like this. With no diminution in tone quality. Bad vibrato, even at the same speed, sounds like this. You see how it's got that seal bark, you know, arr, 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 quality to it. And the sound is being pinched and it just sounds nasty. So that is why you need to connect that vibrato to the bottom of your breath, make it rich and smooth. Think about rolling valleys, not canyons and streets, all right? No cliffs. The transitions of pitch should be smooth. Your breath support flows throughout and the tone quality remains consistent. As opposed to the seal bark. I love my animal terms, don't I? So this is your seal bark vibrato. Arr, arr, arr. Row, 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 row. Or maybe a little sort of barking dog. It's horrid. You know, think about doing the hula hula dance. That's how your vibrato should sound. Smooth and connected. How fast do you play vibrato? That depends on the genre. If you're playing more kind of old-fashioned swing band music, your vibrato might be a little bit quicker, but not really quick, just a bit quicker. If you're playing more modern music, pop stuff, your vibrato might be slower. And as I mentioned, use the links to find out more about vibrato. But we're talking about terminal vibrato. So how does this work? Quite simple. You hit the note and then you bring it in smoothly and you gradually increase the amplitude of that pitch variation, which is what singers do. Gorgeous. So that is the traditional kind of terminal vibrato. Now, what about the old kind of jump jive, old school jazzer style? Well, that's a bit different. This is more dramatic. You're going to drop your jaw a lot. Normal vibrato, quite subtle. You're going to drop your jaw a lot for the sort of jump jivey type one. So the way to practice this is to hit the note and try and really, this is where you do want that kind of seal bark sound. And you can really see my jaw giving it some. And you kind of have to blend in some of that chuffy air at the end. Bang! I'll turn the mic up so you can hear that. Try and really whiff it. Give it that real whiffle of air at the end. That's going to give you the sound. And you can hear lots of jazz musicians do this. And, you know, there are degrees of whiffle. There are degrees of how much of a wodge you do. But the key is to get the note out of the way. Just one or two wobbles. Get out of the way. Get into that kind of chuff of air at the end. Get your jaw really flexible. Most people just blow and their jaw does nothing. You know, they need to be really chomping on this. When I say chomping, I don't mean chomping up on the reed. I mean downward. You take your regular pressure, release it a lot, and then come back. Don't bite more. That's how it goes. Now, once you hear that sound, you'll hear it in all your favorite jazz players. You might even hear it. You'll definitely hear it with your jump jive players. And you might even hear it through different genres, pop, rock and roll, definitely rock and roll. So this is something which is ubiquitous in all popular saxophone styles. That is terminal vibrato. Now, when do you use it? Well, as I always say, vibrato defines genre. If you're playing a real modern jazz piece or you're playing in your big band section, you're not going to do that. Likewise, if you're playing in a jump jive band, you are going to do it because that is going to define the genre. And if you're playing a pop ballad, you're going to do the first version I taught you with a smooth kind of rolling vibrato. Whereas if you're playing body and soul in again a 30s, 40s style, you're not going to do that rolling modern pop vibrato. You're going to do more of the chuffy kind of Ben Webster-y end of note wodgy vibrato. There's a technical musical term, wodgy. So let's say you're doing body and soul. It wouldn't be appropriate for you to go. I mean, it would if you're playing a ballad in a kind of modern way, but it'd be more appropriate if you want to sound like that style to go. Because that sounds more like the style. So that's when you use it, and it's all down to listening, getting familiar with the different genres, maybe transcribing some solos. And if you are transcribing solos, pay attention to the vibrato. Remember that with vibrato, the variations that you're listening for are the speed of the vibrato, how fast, how many wobbles per minute, the depth of the vibrato, how much tone variation, pitch, how much pitch variation, and also when the vibrato is applied. Today we're talking about applying it at the end of a note, but equally it could be at the beginning of a note. That's what you want to pay attention when you're listening to vibrato. Okay, my friends, that concludes today's presentation on terminal vibrato. I hope it's been useful. These are, I'm quite enjoying just doing these shorter videos so I can still give you content, still sax up every Sunday for you. And if you want to sax up your life a little bit more, go and check out my free Saxophone Success Masterclass, which is a whole hour of really awesome teaching which can instantly transform your playing. The link is right there. It's also in the description. Just fill in your email. It is yours. You're welcome. Have fun. I'm all about improving everybody's playing around the world to hopefully make the world a slightly better place if I can. Right. As I mentioned earlier, there might still be a few tickets left for the Saxophone Success Formula Live, which is going to be an awesome event. We've got people coming from all over the world. So even if you're not in the UK, be there or be it square. All right, until next week, thanks very much for watching. I haven't even mentioned subscribing. I always forget it. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. It's a very uphill battle. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe now. Thank you very much. Remember, if you subscribe to my channel, the next read that you take out of the box will work perfectly first time. That's just how it goes. All right. Until next week, practice hard, practice smart, and enjoy your music. Take it easy. But instead, having the vibrato at... Let's start again. That's absolutely rubbish. Let's start again, please. Thank you. Let's do it again. Start again.